The Tunnels by Tom. I live on a rural street in Pennsylvania, and in my town, people are rapidly going missing. Every day, there is at least 2 or 3 reports of someone going missing, from babies and toddlers to adults, and even some elderly. They haven't even found any trace of the source of these disappearances. It started about a month before they started occurring. A selected few of the people in town, people I know, were fearing for their lives at this point. My family and I were keeping our cool. Most of the disappearances only occurred in town, and we lived far away from them. Most people just told their children to stay inside, but my parents didn't. And that's what led me to the answer. While I was eating my lunch at middle school, I heard one of my classmates talking about going into an abandoned house and finding the body of one of our classmates who had gone missing, Ben. He claimed to have found the body of Ben with his face torn apart and bloody. He then ran over to his friend, who he had been skateboarding with, to tell him about the body, but when they went back to the house, it was gone. He says he didn't call the cops because the body had just disappeared, so he would have nothing to show them. The news also traveled to my cousin Chase's house, only a few miles away. Chase has always been an exploring fireball of energy, ready to explore. He said that I was lucky, and that at his town, he didn't have a chance to explore mysteries and other shit. Chase came over one Saturday, and I told him about the rumor I had heard at school. I don't remember why I told him. He insisted that we walk to the house and look for the bodies, and the only reason I agreed was because I had found a $10 bill on the ground, and I wanted to go into town to pick up a breakfast sandwich. We picked up my breakfast sandwich before going to the house. I sat on the curb outside. He really wanted me to go explore with him, but on the off chance that there actually were bodies in the house, I wouldn't want to look at them while eating my sandwich. After about 5 minutes of exploring in the rain, he came back screaming, "I found something!" I had to check it out. I quickly finished the sandwich, and we hopped over the fence that led to the backyard where Chase had apparently found something suspicious. My mouth dropped as I saw what it was. A trap door covered in some kind of red liquid material, which I could only interpret as blood. The liquid had seeped into the old wooden trap door, making some parts of the wood darker. What was even more strange was that it was just in the middle of his backyard, right in the center of the small field filled with grass. I thought we should check this out before the rest of the house. It was locked, so obviously we busted it down. There was a staircase that led to something underground. Chase instantly knew to turn the flashlight on his phone. We slowly and cautiously started walking down the steps. When we reached the last step, we saw a dark hallway. That's when we finally realized what it was. Tunnels. A system of tunnels underground. About every 10 feet, there was a light hanging from the ceiling. He then turned off the flashlight on his phone and switched to the camera app. "What are you doing?" I whispered to him in a shouting-like manner. "Didn't you know this shit goes crazy viral?" He said back with a half smile on his face. We kept walking and walking, forgetting how far we went. The tunnel then had 2 turns. It was at that moment that I realized how far we had gone. The distance between where we found the trap door and where we were at that point was so long that if we were above ground, we would be in the urban city part of town and further than the suburban neighborhoods. I wanted to go back, but Chase was obsessed with going viral. We still had to decide left or right, until we heard a giant metallic thud coming from the right side. We had to go left. We kept walking, and eventually we reached the end that split into 2 more tunnels. There were so many that whoever was using them could easily get around town. That's when I remembered why we were here. The bodies. Chase said that if we didn't find anything within the next 10 minutes, we would head home. I started dropping coins as a trail. We just kept coming to the same kind of end. At the end, it would just split into 2 more tunnels. Now, I can see why Chase wanted to get views for this. I then heard a faint noise. It was the kind of noise that you would hear when someone in high heels is stepping on concrete. "Did you hear that?" I whispered to Chase. Just then, we heard rapid footsteps coming toward us. We started running like hell until we saw a door. It was unlocked, so we opened it and hid in there. I was hoping it would lead to a staircase out of here. Whatever was chasing us ran right past the door. Chase turned on his flashlight and ended the video. I then fell onto a pile of cotton fabric and what felt like skin. Chase flashed his light over me, and that's when I literally threw up my breakfast sandwich. Piles of dead bodies were in this room. Almost all of them recognizable. I don't even want to describe what I saw, but I'll just say there were innocent people, from babies and toddlers to adults and elderly, all being killed and brought here. What pleasure does it bring the person who did this? Chase took some photos to show the police. Somehow, we got service down here and used LTE mobile data to upload the images to Google Drive. He then started recording, but not for views this time. He was recording this to send to the police. We quietly exited the room and ran like hell. We surprisingly remembered the way back to the stairs. I saw Chase turn around while we were running and ran faster. I wasn't going to turn around, but I did run faster to catch up with him. We sent the video to the authorities. The tunnels haven't been sealed because they sent investigators down there. Apparently, those tunnels lead to other cities. The most disturbing part was what we saw in the video when my cousin turned around. It was a giant pink rabbit with huge eyes and blood all over, chasing us with an axe. I don't know how far those tunnels lead. I just hope they seal them soon and catch the man who did this.
Hello, listener. If you've made it this far, why not follow me on Twitter at CreepyPastaED? Don't forget to click the link to subscribe if you dare. And if you have a creepypasta or any chilling, creepy, spine-tingling story you want to be heard, send it to CreepypastaED@gmail.com. Look me up on the CreepyPasta Amino app. And remember,
don't fall asleep.